This is circles. And we have our standard form that looks like this. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. And if we have it in that form, our center is going to be hk, and our radius will be r. Now we have our general form, where we have, and to be honest, I have no clue what the variables this particular book uses, or even what a lot of them do. But we have a number before x squared, then plus bx plus c y squared plus dy plus e is equal to 0, where a, b, c, and d are numbers of some sort. Now I put them in this form for a specific reason. Usually they have them reversed. They'll put all the squared parts first, and all the x and y, and then the number. But this will become important for us to group the x's together, group the y's together. Let's look at our first problem. Our center is -2, -4, and the radius is square root of 3. The instructions say, write the standard form of the equation of the circle with a given center and radius. Well, they're giving us the center and they're giving us the radius, and from our formula, that would mean this is our h, so h is -2, and this is our k, so k is -4, and we got r, so we want to plug this into our standard form. So I have x minus a -2 squared plus y minus a -4 squared equals the square root of 3 to the second power. Now here negative negative gives us positive, so we got x plus 2 squared. Negative negative here gives us positive, so we got y plus 4 squared. And when you got a square root, you're raising that second power, they cancel each other away and leave you the 3. Again, if your index, that number in the little slot here, is by default 2 if you don't have a number. If your index matches your power, they cancel each other away. This would be our answer. And, okay, I was just wondering if they want us to graph it. I guess they don't on that one. Let's take a look at the next one. I'll probably just graph one of these. They're kind of boring, the graphs of them. But if you've never seen a circle before, then you probably should see it. Okay, so we got x plus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 16. It says give the center and radius of the circle described by the equation and graph each equation. Well, this is already in standard form. We got x plus or minus a number squared. We got y plus or minus a number squared. So this is going to be our h, and it's always going to be opposite sign. So h is -2. Now this is going to be our k, and it'll also be opposite sign. So k is going to equal to positive 3. And this is going to be r, and we're going to take the square root of it. So r is going to equal square root of 16, which gives us 4. So our center is hk, which we said h was -2 and k is 3. And our radius is r, which is 4. Okay, so let's take a look at the graph. -2, 3. Our center is at -2, 3, so I come there and put my dot. That's my center. Now I'm going to go out a distance of 4 in any direction. Your best ones are to go up, down, left, or right. Do not go at an angle. That's too hard. So, okay, I'm going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where the outer edge of my circle will be. So I'll draw around the center equal distance. No matter if I go up, down, left, or right, the radius should always be 4. If I go at an angle, it should still be 4. So that would be our graph. Let's take a look at the next one. We got x squared plus y plus 4 squared equals 1. Now, standard form says you have to have x plus or minus a number. So I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to put x minus or x plus, whichever you choose. And this is y plus 4, so that's good. And 1. Well, you have to think, what number can I put in here such that I don't change its original value? And that'd be 0. Because x minus 0 is x, and x to the second power is x squared. So we haven't changed it. It looks a little bit different. We just haven't changed its original value. Now this is going to be h, and it's going to be opposite sign. The reason why I said it could be a negative or positive, because 0 doesn't have a sign. So opposite sign of 0 is still just 0. This is going to be k, and it's going to be opposite sign, which would be negative 4. And this is r, and we take square root of it. So square root of 1 gives us 1. Our center is hk, which will be 0, negative 4. And our radius will be r, which is 1. So those are our answers. And let me start a new page for the next problem. Okay, so we got x squared plus y squared minus 8x minus 16y plus 76 equals 0. Now this is our general form. Remember how I said you have the the squareds first, and then the first powers second, x, and then y, then your number. Well, this procedure is writing a circle in general form not that I can spell. Try it again. In general form, so writing a circle in general form into standard form. Okay, so our first step. Actually, you don't have to do it for any of these problems here, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it here just for completeness sake. Our first step is to divide everything by the number in front of the x squared. Well, there isn't a number in front of our x squared, so we don't have to worry about that. You'll find none of your problems in a section will need that step. But okay, step 2. Group the x's, group the y's, take the number to the right side. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Group the x's. I put the x squared minus 8x next to each other. I put a line underneath them like that. I put the y squared next to the negative 16y, line underneath them like that. And when I say take the number to the right side, I'm talking about the constant term. So I'll take 76 over, it becomes a negative 76. Well, step 2. Complete the square on the x's and complete the square on the y's. And let me do part of it here. So for x's, remember with completeness square, we take the number before the x, which is -8. You multiply it times a half, and you square it. It's always times a half, it's always squared. Well, -8 times a half is -4. -4 squared gives us 16. And then we would add that to both sides. Now specifically, I'm going to add it to the x's on the left side. Try it again. There we go. Now for the y's. I'm going to take the number that's before our y, which is -16. I'll multiply it times a half, and I'll square it. It's always times a half, it's always squared. -16 times a half is -8, and -8 squared gives us 64. And we're going to add that to both sides. So I got y squared minus 16y plus 64. Then I'll add 64 over here. And again, I'm grouping those together. Now remember, with completeness square, we're going to factor these now. This factors as x minus 4 squared. And this one factors as y minus 8 squared. And I have no clue what this gives us. 70, 80, 80 minus that. Okay, 4. Now it's very easy. Right here, right inside the parentheses, right before you square it, sign included. See how it's -4? That's what goes right here, -4. Over in the y's, we have a -8 right before we squared it. That's what goes right there. It makes that factoring so easy. Now at this point, this is in standard form. So we're done, basically. This is going to be, they probably want us to identify a center and radius. Okay. This is going to be our h, and its opposite sign, so it'll be +4. And this is our k, and its opposite sign will be 8. And this is our r, and we'll take square root of it. So square root of 4, and we get r is equal to 2. So our center is hk, which is 4, 8. And our radius will be r, which is 2. And those will be your answers. Let's look at another one of those. We have x squared plus y squared plus 7x plus 9y plus 49 over 4. Now step 1 we don't have to do still. That's divide everything by the number in front of your x squared. Step 2, group the x's together. So I got x squared plus 7x. Group the y's together. So I got y squared plus 9y. And take the number or the constant term over to the right side. So then it becomes -49 over 4. Okay, so we want to complete the square on the x's. So let's come over here, we'll do the x's. Number before our x is 7. So we're going to take 7 times a half and squared. That gives us 7/2 squared, or 49 over 4. And we want to add that to both sides. So I've got x squared plus 7x plus 49 over 4. And over here I got -49 over 4 plus 49 over 4. Well, let's also complete squaring the y's. We'll take our number for our y, which is 9. Take it times a half and square it. 9 times a half is 9/2. And 9/2 squared gives us 81 over 4. And we want to add that to both sides. So we got y squared plus 9y plus 81 over 4. And add 81 over 4 over here. Okay, we want to factor the x's now, so that becomes x plus 7/2 squared. And we want to factor the y's, that becomes y plus 9/2 squared. Over on the right side, the -49 over 4 plus 49 over 4 cancels, and we're left with 81 over 4. And this is in standard form now. Now, I forgot to mention. Again, do not forget, it makes it so easy. This number right here, right before you square it, is always what goes right here, sign included. This number right here, right before you square it, is always what goes right here, sign included. So that's a very easy way you can factor those. Well, this is going to be our h, and it's going to be opposite sign, so that's negative 7/2. And this is going to be our k, and it's going to be opposite sign, which is negative 9/2. And this is going to be r, and we just take square root of it. Now, 9 times 9 gives you 81, and 2 times 2 gives you 4, so this becomes 9/2. So our center is hk, which is negative 7/2, negative 9/2. And our radius is r, which is 9/2. Now, if you're wondering, why is it opposite sign? In our standard form, we had x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. Notice how these have a minus in here? Whenever you have a minus in there, that always flips the sign of whatever you're finding. And I believe that's the last in that section. So I guess we're ready to save this and call good.